ladies and gentlemen, I am the CHALL, your Doncaster Rovers fan and YouTube sporting journalist. Now today is a transfer update. It is officially 2 weeks until the end of the transfer window. Not a lot of hyping up transfer activity, however I did talk in a space last night and we do have some updates for you this afternoon. Well, this morning actually, I'm going to upload this morning. So this is on a few names that have been mentioned as potential reach outs and inquiries, but nothing, but a couple of them or most of them will probably not likely happen. So before we get started, make sure you do like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell to never miss a YouTube video. And for now, we're going to go through these in one by one detail. So let's start off with a couple of Lincoln players that may still be loaned out. So first off is young striker Charley Kendall. Now there is a possibility that he could go out on loan, however Lincoln are holding off on any loans for them at the minute. Now Lincoln of course is reported to invest $1 million in their academy 3 years ago, with players starting to come out now. Now in terms of Charley, Lincoln were really eager to send Charley out on loan, but then he played really well against Doncaster Rovers in the Cup, got the goal, and they're considering keeping him as backup. It'll be interesting to see with Lincoln because they've got 2 loans and a permanent deal due before the end of the window. So if they can get those 2 loans in and the permanent due in, maybe Charley is a deadline day signing. Now another player that could be an interesting move is Sean Rowan. Now, Sean Rowan is a left back, 19 years old, so he would provide cover on those positions. He could play left back, he could play centre back as well. He played quite well in the Cup game again. Now, Appleton wasn't as much of a fan, but Mark Kennedy is apparently a really big fan of this guy. And Sean, and there's high hopes apparently for Sean. Now, he just needs the game time apparently, but again, two loans and a permanent before the end of the window expected at Lincoln City from my inside source. Now, for me personally, I think it's going to be interesting to see with him. Now, with Sean, it won't be a permanent deal. It'll be a loan deal because they're expecting Sean Rowan to be the first £1 million sale out of the youth academy, so he will be a loan deal if this comes off before the end of the window. Now, let's first of all discuss those 2 names, Sean Rowan and Charley Kendall. So there we go. That's 2 Lincoln players that are rumoured to have been talked about for a potential loan spell with us before the end of the window. Sean Rowan and Charley Kendall, 2 names who were very good against us in the Cup when they beat us 3-0. And 2 names that I would probably expect us to maybe go for in terms of cover for loan spell. And we know some of McSheffrey's character references and character profiles. If he sees a player, whether it's against us or a different game, if he sees a player that's performing good, he'll keep him on the radar. So Sean Rowan, if you want to know a little bit about him, he was on loan last season to Drogday United in Ireland. I believe he's an Irish player. 1 assist in 15 appearances, decent. Charley Kendall scored the goal in the EFL Cup, looks decent, and a great young player. So again, 2 very exciting prospects from the Lincoln City Academy that could be within with a loan spell depending what happens with the Imps before the end of the window. Now let's talk about 2 names that are completely out of the question, however there has been talks and inquiries. So, reportedly, according to my inside source, the club have spoken to Tom Carroll, but he wants to stay near Ipswich. And they've also spoke to Liam Bridcut, but it's a massive cost for Liam Bridcut. So, let's talk a bit more detail about Bridcut and Carroll. So, those are the other 2 names that have been mentioned about, Liam Bridcut and Tom Carroll. Tom Carroll, former Swansea Academy member, former Spurs player as well, don't forget. Obviously in League One at the minute. Very experienced in the EFL, experienced midfielder. I think we've got our experienced midfielders though, so I think it would just be an extra bit of experience. Same with Liam Bridcut. I think that signing for me is a signing maybe 2-3 years too late. I think that someone like him 2-3 years ago would have been better. I think the thing with Bridcut and Carroll is I think those 2 kind of signings represent the kind of last big deal. You know, Donny Rovers at the minute are one of the clubs in League Two that are looking to get back into League One, and they've got an unbeaten start to the season. Maybe this is them looking at moves to a club that's on the up, on the pitch at least. But again, Bridcut, we knew the budget was gone because Smith Sheffrey called it a couple of weeks ago, so, you know, the cost would have been too big for Bridcut, so that won't happen unless we start wheeling and dealing and get some serious funds into the club before deadline day. Tom Carroll, if it wasn't for staying close to the Ipswich area and the Ipswich section of the country, and that whole section of the country, maybe there would have been a chance with Tom Carroll, but again, finances would have been a big problem for that deal potentially. So yeah, a couple of experienced names that I don't think will happen unless some massive U-turn or a massive wheel and deal happens, which I don't think it will happen. But two young Lincoln players there, possible loan spells if the Imps can get their business done with the loanees and the permanent deal before the end of the window. So Kendall and Rowan are still a possibility. Bridcut and Carroll, probably not. Maybe they could be next summer's acquisitions, but you never know. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. Make sure you do like, comment, subscribe. And for now, I'm the CHALL, your Doncaster Rovers fan and YouTube sporting journalist. That is full-time. Rovers Tie Die. Thank you very much.